What's up, everybody? Welcome back to React Andy Monogatari. Tonight we're on episode 1 of Owarimonogatari Season 2. So, what happened on the last episode? That's a great question. Obviously, we're in a new location. We're in the Christmas special location. I've done a little moving. No more green screen. Just for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But, for now, we're in this fun little new location. Just pointing it out. It's actually been kind of crazy. It's been 2 weeks since I finished Owarimonogatari. Usually, we started Monogatari doing 2 episodes a week, and then kind of for the last little bit we were doing 1 a week, and then there was like a big gap there. We're gonna try to speed it up for the next couple, just letting you know. So yeah. But yeah, a lot happened last episode, and there's a lot to think and talk about, and I have a couple big questions that I do not have the answers to. That's where we're at. So let me just boom. This is the comments from last episode. I also have there's more than just the ones here. There's one more big comment. But yeah, so lots of fun comments. That's the sound of me eating up the comments. Yum. But yeah, so we're just gonna go top to bottom. I'm gonna just hit a couple of these real quick. I guess let me give the little mini recap. Little mini recap is, basically, we have concluded what's the guy's name? Like Seishuru or something? Right here. Seishuru. We've completed his life. He is now perished. He has been cut down. Well, he hasn't even been cut down. He got talismaned. He got talismaned by Araragi using the talisman from the shrine that Oshino put there. And then he like disintegrated into ash. Right when Shinobu came in to like kind of, I guess, see him out in a way, you know, like be there for him in his last moments type beat. So that was the main kind of finish there. But then we had the epilogue, which I'm perhaps even more interested in, where Araragi finishes, because this entire arc he's been describing to Ogi, right? Him telling Ogi the arc is why we're seeing the arc, right? Like I think those two things are pretty aligned. So he finishes telling the story to Ogi. Ogi's like, dang, that's crazy, for real. Drops some ominous bars about like death, basically, and we'll like look at that some more. And then Ogi leaves. Ononoki comes in, starts saying some bars about like, oh, like, what do you think about happiness, blah blah blah. Araragi reveals the whole like nobody is happy thing, and then walks off to go die, basically. So that's the long and short of it. Let's just kind of go down through some of the comments. This is pretty sick. I didn't really connect this. That right after Araragi deals with Shinobu and Seishiro here, it's immediately after that he goes to finish Tsubasa Tiger, right? We knew that, but very directly how there's a parallel between Shinobu resolving her past situation with Seishiro and Araragi actually facing Hanakawa's feelings. I mean, it's the same thing. They're both dealing with like a attachment, perhaps with some like romance thrown in the past that they were kind of putting off. And for Shinobu, it was with the first. Araragi was with Hanakawa, right? So that's pretty sick. And we get to see like very directly how Araragi follows in what Shinobu's doing there. There's kind of a fun question that I was thinking about, like, is it that seeing Shinobu do that gave him the confidence to deal with Hanakawa's feelings, or is it rather that seeing Shinobu do that for first kind of gave him the obligation to face Hanakawa's feelings, right? Because there's a very big difference in whether he's doing it because he now feels inspired to, versus he's doing that because he now feels like he has to, right? And I almost want to say like there might be like the obligation thing's really interesting to me, right? Because the guy's in kind of a crazy mind space. So if that is kind of like, if he feels like he's been forced into doing that as opposed to doing it of his own free will, I mean, that would tie into the whole like strung along by the freaking puppeteer of fate kind of idea a little bit. But just a little thought there. I thought that was really cool. This part about him going up and going straight to his death thing, in my boy's defense, I don't think he knows what was waiting for him up at that shrine. I kind of think he does. Like, I think he does, but he's not admitting it to himself, and so he doesn't. But it's a very purposeful ignorance, because he really does. The way I would, my idea for that is, I mean, it's similar to like what Ogi was doing in the Sodachi arc, right? where they kept, like, Hanakawa and Ogi kept giving Araragi the hints about what actually happened to Sodachi's mom. And it took like an absolute like stupid amount of hints for him to actually finally admit it. I mean, he knew, right? He just didn't want to admit it until he got forced into admitting it because it was so painfully obvious that his facade, his charade of ignorance completely fell apart, right? It's kind of that same thing where like Ogi knows things that Araragi really knows, and then Ogi just forces him to confront it, right? I think it's kind of the same thing where like, and I'll pull up a shot by shot in a second, but right after Araragi walks out that door, he is walking to his death, right? He is walking up to Gon in the freaking shrine, and she's gonna cut him down with the sword. Which is something I'm confused on, because new developments have occurred. But I think he's going to his death, right? We got that. For Ogi to, like, foreshadow that a little bit in whatever, I don't remember exactly what Ogi said, we'll pull that up too, but for Ogi to kind of foreshadow that to Araragi, and then for Araragi to hear that and then go anyways, I mean, he knows what he's walking into, he just doesn't want to, like, take responsibility, actually, like, he's willfully being ignorant about it, you know? Yeah, that's kind of my view of it. And it does play into, like, how much we want to lend that Ogi is whatever Araragi's repressing, right? Because that's something we've thought about a lot when it comes to like information gathering. That's something that was like I feel like that was one of the origins of the Ogi Araragi connection, like in the way that I've watched the show, where it was like, bro, Ogi's everywhere and knows everything. How could that happen? It could only happen if they were attached to like Araragi or had some sort of like omniscience crazy other feature, right? Because everything in the story is tied to Araragi, so for Ogi to know whatever Araragi knows, Ogi pretty much knows everything in the story, right? That's kind of, I feel like that was one of the first big bridges in connecting those two. So in that way, right, kind of depending on how that dynamic exactly works, which of course we haven't gotten any confirmation on anything yet because the show is a little tease, it's a little teasy monogatari. Because we haven't gotten any confirmation, like, you know, is it that, like, through oddity woo-woo, he actually is forgetting things? You know, I don't freaking know. I'm kind of the thing that he's willfully being ignorant, and that it's somewhat a surface level thing, like, as opposed to being all the way down into his consciousness. Like, he's somewhat, like, maybe subconsciously or not, but, like, he's repressing these things. It's somewhere within him is a choice that he has made, kind of thing. Like, it is within Araragi's power to give up control, and he gives up control so that he feels like it's not in his power anymore, because that's like a way to cope. Boom. Write that on my tombstone. Okay, bet. That's where I'm at with that. This is a really good point, and it's made a couple, like, I think a couple people say similar, that the thing that Araragi's talking about at the end of, like, in the epilogue with Ogi, or with Ononoki, with everyone being unhappy, it's tied to his decision to save Shinobu back in Kizu, where Oshino was like, it's gonna make everyone miserable, right? It's crazy conceptually, because that's literally the first thing chronologically, well, other than like the Sodachi flashbacks, right? But that's the first like major event chronologically that we watch is Kizu. And so for his decision there, and then he goes through all the story up to this epilogue, and he still is hung up on it, and all the love from Senjugahara, all his attachments to these other people, all the love that he's getting from like Kanbaru, all the like admiration, none of that is enough to fill the hole that is his like shame or whatever back in Kizu. Like it all goes back to Kizu, bro. So that's just crazy, like, conceptually. But I mean, that's really where he's at, right? So, yeah. This freaking guy, bro. You gotta listen when Senjugahara says you're special to me, and that's what matters, okay? You can't say nobody's happy when she says how much she loves you, bro. You're literally just coping. You're, like, negative coping. You're, like, doom spiral like, instead of coping, it's, like, it's doom posting. He's doom posting so much. Final season gonna be hype? True. Dude, what is gonna happen? So, okay. Listen. This next part is where I have no answers and where it gets crazy, okay? I'm having to sit up in my, like, goofy, big old chair here. Look how big this chair is. Look at... Hello? I could sit in it twice. Hello? I don't get it. Okay. Anyways. This. Dreamspan. Ogi is like, yo, The armor could be made into Dreamspan, right? Right here. The armor is part of his flesh and blood, his bones. There's like just like enough of it. Sword. Sorry, this is so scuffed. The freaking. If you melt it down, you can reforge it as another demon sword, Heartspan.
That's how she killed all.
And I'm like, oh, boogers, right?
Oh,
and then, in fact, ideally as the short sword Dreamspan. At the time, it's like, what the heck are you talking about? I went back to Oni episode 2, blah blah blah. I literally just pulled up my own reaction because I actually didn't have the episode downloaded. But so I was rewatching my own reaction, which is actually kind of crazy because like, I'll actually find it real quick. Dreamspan is a oddity reviver, right? That's its purpose. Whereas Heartspan, if I'm getting the freaking names, bro, the other sword is the oddity killer, right? Right here. The long katana was the demon sword Heartspan, used replica of it. The other demon sword, the shorter katana, was named Dreamspan. If Heartspan was a blade to kill oddities, was the shorter a blade to kill humans? They're like, no, it's the oddity reviver is the point, right? So Dreamspan's the oddity reviver, Heartspan's the oddity killer. I literally, when I'm rewatching this, I was like, why did he have Dreamspan? Like, why would a oddity hunter, a vampire hunter, because that's what Homeboy is, the first, right? Why would an oddity hunter have an oddity reviver? And I'm watching the episode, right when the thought hits my brain, this little goober right here on the screen said it aloud. It was crazy.
Interesting. I thought it was going to be able to kill the darkness for some reason, but no.
Wait, listen. Say it, goober. Right? Look, it's hitting his brain.
Wow. Why did he have that as a hunter?
Right there. That's literally right when I was thinking it, so was this little guy freaking 6 months ago. Freaking crazy, right? That's the fun part about these is like I don't freaking remember this thing like at all, bro. But like the thought was there. Crazy, bro. We're capturing thoughts. Okay, but yeah. So Dreamspan, okay, it's the oddity reviver. That means that's a way for Araragi to come back to life. Let's just throw that out there. All right, that's the simplest thing there. But the real question is, why does Gaon want that? Because that's what Ogi says Gaon wants here. You can reforge it as another demon sword Heartspan, which I thought is what she did. And I won't pull it up yet, but in Kiyomi Dead, the Kiyomi 12 episode, she has the freaking Heartspan. She's got the massive sword. So like, why is Ogi saying, in fact, ideally as the short sword Dreamspan? I don't get that. That I don't understand. So I don't know why Gaon would want Dreamspan. I don't know why Gaon would want Dreamspan. I kind of thought that since we see her with the sword in Kiyomi Dead, Kiyomi episode 12, since we see her with the sword there, I was like, oh, this is where she got it from. Because now I'm thinking, I actually don't, like, if she really reforged the armor into Dreamspan, then I have no idea where she got freaking Heartspan from, right? And I might just be forgetting something straight up, but it's like, bro, Shinobu swallows that thing and just keeps it with her, right? And they very clearly say in Kiyomi episode 12, she's like, yo, is Shinobu sleeping in your shadow? And he says, and Araragi's like, yes, she's currently like completely nocturnal. So it's like, where did you have armor that can turn into a sword, right? Why is Ogi saying Dreamspan when I see you pull up with Heartspan? Why would you want the oddity reviver? The only thing that I immediately think of when I ask why, because it's all about asking the right questions, all right? That's the key to any good, I think the key to most prediction, other than just intuition, because intuition's honestly OP, but the key to most good prediction is asking the right question, right? Because then you can get ahead of the game. Otherwise, you're just in the dark, right? I think the question here is, why would Gaon want Dreamspan, right? I think that's a pretty good question. The only idea I have, so it's like, okay, what are all the oddities that are dead? I don't know. This guy, Seishiro, right? He's dead. I don't know why you would want to revive him. Blah blah blah. I think there might be a chance that Gaon wanted Dreamspan so that she could kill Araragi and then revive him as like a last ditch effort to like give him what he wants, but show him that it's not what he needs. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm gonna murder you so that you realize that being murdered isn't the play, and then I'm gonna reel you back in. Or we revive Hachikuji. Hachikuji. Bro, are we gonna get Hachikuji this episode? I will literally pog if we get Hachikuji this episode. I will literally pog. I have no idea where this episode is even gonna pick up. Because what I think the other way we could watch this, the like order wise, I think we do Kiyomi. We would have done Kiyomi next. So I assume Owari season 2 is gonna pick up with Araragi dead because he's literally walking up to the shrine. But so yeah. Why would you want Dreamspan? I don't know. Maybe when we'll do some scroll through for sure. Maybe we'll get some ideas there. I'm just pointing that out as a thing that like now I'm confused because I thought I had it when it was like, oh, it's Heartspan. That seems to be a pretty reasonable situation where it's like, oh, she needed the sword to kill Araragi. This is where she got the sword. But maybe it's not the case. Maybe it's not the case. But yeah, little rat. Oh, Ogi, my little rat, derogatory. Okay. This is some pretty cool name stuff with Seishiro Shiro. I'm so sorry. The first, right, where I thought this was ironic that the part of his name refers to life and death, and life and death is exactly the process of overcoming being ash. He literally turns into ash, bro. He literally turns into ash on the wind, bro, at the end. So that's kind of so he gets stickered. He's just back to being in the wind, right? Does he actually? No, because Shinobu eats him. That's right. Shinobu absorbs him. That means she got all the juice. Because he was literally stockpiling, like, juice. And so she just yoinked it all. It's like Minecraft, bro. He was stockpiling XP, and then he got killed. No. And then he got put to 1 HP. He got the withered condition from Araragi, took him to half a heart. Then Shinobu came in, hit him once. He dies. She absorbs all the XP. I wonder if that matters. Maybe. I don't freaking know. Good analogy. Hey, good analogy? Yeah. Okay. Anyways. And then the other part of his name meaning heaps of corpses, which is he's literally built on a heaps of corpses. Like he's built off of the heaps of oddity corpses that he's consumed. And he's also an oddity hunter, so there's some double meaning there that's kind of sick, right? I mean, there's the really clean visual of like him climbing out of the like being ash, and he's like on the pile of a bunch of other things or whatever. That's kind of like him being built, like his reappearing with consciousness is built off of heaps of corpses that he's stacked underneath him. Ooh, good visuals. Gon giving Araragi the choice between the three to go save one of the three, is like calling him out on his tunnel vision. I liked this point of how, since like Araragi reaching, like right here, Senjugahara contently notices how he has, I assume you mean Senjo here. Senjugahara contently notices how he has matured by looking more out of that tunnel view by reaching out to them, cause he texts, the squad to go cover the spots that he can't cover, and he sends Kanbaru to do things as well. So that instead of just locking in on one thing, he's actually willing to try to cover all three. So, I mean, as much as that's a plus that he's no longer tunnel visioning, it's also like shows that he refuses to let go of anyone, which is like right here. It's weird. It's a really weird dynamic for him, right? Where he both gets locked into one person, but also refuses to like only save one person. Like he tries to do both, right? Have his cake and eat it too. Whoa, bro. But yeah, Senjugahara's evolution. There's more to be seen. Very exciting. Let me just skim this again so I can remember what the heck is happening. Hearing this moment in mail about Gon having to choose who to save, he tries to save everyone. Very much true. Then Araragi goes on about trust. The Senjo's comment to his situation concludes much about the same thing. They're on the same wavelength. That said, as we've seen in full display, he's not satisfied with his actions still. He'll still do anything for others, but not for himself. He does not trust himself. I think this is very true. It's also, so it's like for me, it always comes, or like a lot of the time it comes back to like shadow self type thinking where, because right, we have the idea he does not trust himself. That gives us the question, why does he not trust himself? Ogi is the answer, low key, right? Ogi is a menace, bro. Ogi is a menace to society. Out here, like, pushing people into traffic was one of my favorite metaphors, right? I mean, I'm thinking back to Nadeko ascending to godhood. Thank you, Ogi, for doing all that nonsense, for all that noise. And that, as something that I think is built off of a lot of the repression from Araragi, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't trust myself either if I got an Ogi in me and I haven't properly, like, made friends with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, because it's like, man, it's like one of those things with introspection where it's like if you introspect and you see something scary in yourself, you see like maybe you realize like, oh dang, I got some crazy anger in me, or like I got some like malicious energy in me, or like dang, I kind of get like really jealous and like I kind of want to, or like I kind of want to hurt people sometimes, or I kind of want to like, blah 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 blah. Like there's a lot of like vices that people can uncover in themselves, and so realizing for when someone realizes that they have that within themselves, that can be really, I think, disorienting, especially if they pride themselves on being like good. Because then all of a sudden, like, the good part of you is scared of the evil part of you if you're conceptualizing yourself in good and evil terms, black and white terms, which is already perhaps a mistake. Shout out Hanakawa. But like in doing so, you're causing inner division, and then that gets really scary really fast. That kind of shakes you at your foundation. No foundation of justice. Araragi completely crumples. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's real. I think I very much like kind of what's the word? Like sympathize with Araragi and his self-concept, right? Me resisting the urge to personal tangent. Me resisting. Yeah, we're good. I might bring it back later. I think I can find a better angle of approach for some of that. But yeah, so I think it's a really basically Pog. Okay, we're continuing. Continue in the comments. We got a lot to say. Guilty about having to remove Seishiro. I think this part specifically I really like that he already he still holds some apprehension to his choice to selfishly save Shinobu back in Kizu. I think this is true. Period. End of sentence. But now it's even getting more that instead of just saving her, now he's stealing her, basically cucking the first, right? Yeah. I don't know. Why do I feel like I have something to add to it, but I just can't comprehend what I'm trying to say? It's crazy how that works sometimes. Sometimes the commentary just says, no more commentary. I think it's time for me to take a sip from my drink. My water bottle. Start thinking about self-perception, okay? You'll have a quiz in 10 minutes. Okay. Let's just go to this. Oh yeah, okay, Sodachi. Now we're cooking. Now we're back on it. Okay, so it's all about self-perception. I almost said self-deception. For Araragi, same diff, right? It's like kind of hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy between what he says to other people and what he actually applies to himself is massive. Karen in Nisei, he's critiquing his own justice, critiquing his own past self. That's hypocritical. The things he tells to Sodachi about being able to like still be happy and like move forward and all that stuff. And then she does do those things and he's left behind because he doesn't follow his own advice. Real. We were seeing it back then. The guy kind of does that, right? It's crazy. It goes back to like this self-perception, which I like the term introspection a lot because I do think it's like it's kind of the same word, right? But either way, where, I mean, because think about it this way, like if you introspect a ton, if you self-percept a ton, then you really get to know yourself, including all your flaws, right? And once you know of all your flaws, then you have a lot of fuel for thinking you don't deserve things, you know? Compare that to judging someone else, right? I.e. judging Sodachi, where even with Sodachi, like, being all mean to him or, like, being, aggressive towards Araragi and whatnot, he really doesn't necessarily have a full understanding of every vice within her, of every, like, negative, malicious trait within her, right? And especially through the arc, where we really get to see how it all stems out of, like, so much pain, right? It's really easy to be sympathetic towards her. Compare that to Araragi with introspection, where it's, like, as much as he can see Sodachi and kind of get an understanding of like maybe like some of her negative traits or whatnot, when he's looking into himself, he gets all of his negative traits, right? Like, you know yourself the best. If you kind of take that concept, that means you know you're horrible. You know the horror within you the best, which then gives you a reason to like not trust yourself, to despise yourself, to not apply things to yourself, right? Because as much as he does that for Sodachi, he still is stuck up on his mistakes in the past. He doesn't know about Sodachi's whatever Sodachi regrets, right? But he knows every regret he has. So when it comes to actually applying like the philosophy of like being able to be happy, I mean, he can throw it onto Sodachi, but then there's all the things in the past, such as the Shinobu thing, which I mean came back very clearly in the epilogue of this last episode, that stop him from applying it to himself, you know? So that's a big ouchie ouchie, basically. It's, yeah, the wishing of divine retribution, and so cue the self-flagellation. It's super self-flagellating, right? Because, especially for someone that, like, prides himself on good, right? In a kind of naive sense, the whole, like, heroism thing, which is a huge dynamic for Araragi, especially for someone like that is like, I'm gonna, take care of the oddities or whatever. As soon as it starts to apply to himself, then now he's got his, like, baton of righteous good that then is like, oh, there's evil, bink, 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 start smacking yourself with it. So why would, man, and it's crazy, he literally becomes part oddity, which I think, like, is like such a parallel to his own, like, negative conceptions of himself, right? Ooh, that's so good. And because, well, it's even better because it's, and this is pretty, like, I think this is something we've seen for a lot. This isn't a new thing, but very specifically in how being an oddity makes him a target for heroics, right? Where it's like, oh, the hero destroys the oddity, whatever, that kind of idea. How that can parallel, like, if you despise yourself, how then you become a target for yourself. You start to self-flagellate. You start to deserve pain, That, like, that's a crazy mirror between the hero and the oddity and the individual despising themselves for their own, like, flaws and so forth. That's nuts, right? That's super nuts. Which I think is a large part of, like, how I've been conceiving Shinobu, recently, with the whole her being like I think I use the word coping mechanism a lot, and I've quite liked that term. And so it's like he sees himself as the vampire. Boom, that's obviously connected to Shinobu, right, as the kind of responsible party for that. And so instead of actually dealing with the issue of like it's like this, like, let me maybe, like, throw out an analogy of, like, think about, like, a negative coping mechanism. I think I could, like you could throw in, like, a bulimia or, like, an anorexia. I don't know, like, an eating disorder makes, like, I think is a decent analogy, where somebody might have, like, an eating disorder, let's say bulimia, they, like, cause themselves to throw up, and that could come, like, that's a thing by itself, right? And so if you're I don't know, like, looking at somebody or, like, talking to somebody and they have that disorder, that eating disorder, or you are somebody and you have that eating disorder, then it's like, oh, the problem with me is that I'm bulimic. Boom, right? Like, that's I feel like you could conceive yourself or conceive someone else in that way, but I think there's a lot of times, I'm not going to say all the time, right? I don't really know exactly how this all works, but I think a lot of the time there is a deeper reason for why someone's bulimic in the first place, right? Like, is it them, I don't know, purging because they have body issues and they view themselves as like overweight or something? Is it, like, some sort of, like, form of self-harm because they don't think they deserve food, and so they want to, like whatever they throw up and it, like, burns and it hurts them, they think that that's, like, correct or something like that? Is it, like, a bid for control because they feel like they're losing control in other parts of their life, so they're turning to this as a way to, like, if at least I can control what goes into my stomach, right? That's something very primal, something very grounded, blah blah blah. But so as much as we can see bulimia as, like, the problem or, like, the disorder, there's also, like, the reasons that it's here, right? And in some ways, I think it can be a symptom of a deeper issue. That's how I've been thinking of Shinobu, where it's like all this vampirism, right? That's really just a symptom of some deeper stuff, right? It's a deeper stuff, a symptom of his, like, viewing of himself going poorly, right? Of his spiraling self-perception, of his lack of foundation in injustice and all these things, which then causes him to, like, lose grip on himself, and when you start to lose grip on yourself, you start to lose grip in your own humanity, and so he becomes freaking half oddity or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like that disconnect. I think it's so cooking, bro. I love it. It's also very sad. Right? Because I wish the best for this goober, for Araragi, man. Yeah, I don't know. This guy is real. Oh, I have my little Araragi pin. Araragi pen on my desk. Araragi pen. But yeah. So that's some stuff on self-perception, I guess. The extraordinary night-dwelling monster with no reflection. Ooh, no reflection, bro. Vampires don't reflect. The monster doesn't deserve reflection? Or isn't able to reflect? What does reflect even mean? Reflect on yourself? Reflect on your actions? I don't know. Anyways, to continue the yappening. The yappening. Um, some of these previous bars, foolish experience turning into foolish practices. I mean, especially with I mean, I think being a vampire over and over, acting like a vampire over and over, turning you into a vampire. That was like an entire thing. Becoming so caught up in oneself to the point of losing oneself. That's just a crazy line, right? Like, man, being so caught up in oneself. I feel like that's like you lose yourself in yourself. I mean, that's pretty much what you're saying, but it's like I think you can apply that to introspection. Bro, it's freaking hot in this room. Get this blanket off of me, bro. But yeah, he is dense and in dire need to carry his own weight, all the support he could use. In dire need to carry his own weight is so real, bro. You gotta take some like responsibility for your own life. You know what I mean, right? You gotta carry your own burdens. You can't keep trying to offset it, right? I mean, if nothing else, that can be a way for you to feel like you have more control. You know, fool moment. Try not to be a fool. Challenge death gone sexual. Basically real. Basically real. We love the Sodachi connection. I thought this was just so funny. I think I saw the comment before it was edited, like when it was posted, and then I saw it get edited later, and I thought that was really funny. So yeah. Shinobu's manifestation ability is purely the manifestation of physical matter. I did not know that. Assuming that's true, that's pretty cool, and means that the whole time travel thing couldn't have been a manifestation, which is fine. But yeah, so that's a good thing to like think about. Kiyomi did go to wake up and get Shinobu from the shrine. It's just one of the things cut. That's kind of crazy to me, honestly. Because that means that like how much did he coordinate with Shinobu in dealing with Seishiro, right? I pronounced his name correctly, right? Seishiro, yeah, something like that. How much did he coordinate with Shinobu in dealing with Seishiro? Because I think there is an important element of him trying to solo the encounter. Like I felt like that was kind of an important element, right? Where instead of actually dealing with all the emotions and like reconciling with the past and whatnot, he's like, no, I'm just gonna go fight it out and do the duel, right? And so the duel is like kind of like him trying to like snake his way out of it a little bit. That's kind of the impression I was getting. So if he goes and wakes up Shinobu on his own, then like her airdropping in the sword was something of his plan, right? Which I mean I guess I could see that where he has Shinobu airdrop in the sword so that he can get because he still has the talisman, so it's not like he's going to use it anyways, right? So if anything, that's maybe making the first overconfident so that he can get a better talisman shot, right? Something like that, because now there's a big sword in play and the guy's got it, right? So he's gonna feel like the winner chicken dinner. Yeah. So that does change things but it's hard to tell how much that changes things because we don't know how much they communicate at that point, right? Like, is Shinobu just chilling? Like he grabs Shinobu and then she just chills in the bush when he goes to the duel? Like, did he say, okay, drop the sword in? Or did she just do that? Was he aware, you know? So it's kind of hard to, like, figure that all out, I suppose. Gon also comments on how Koyomi refuses to acknowledge being treated as special. That's super true. This is super true. Or, like, that element for Araragi, I'm saying, right? But, yeah. Love this episode as well. So good. Very true. We're cooking. This is the talisman thing. Big difference in rejecting knowledge. Big difference in acknowledging that we are often incapable of reasoning through our everyday situations through logic, and that being different to claiming logic doesn't matter or it's fine to ignore things we are wrong about. Definitely massive difference in those two. I kind of like to like selectively tap into the just claiming logic doesn't matter thing. I like to sometimes do that because I'm the type of person that like will logically. I almost said something crazy there. Will logically like dig myself into a hole where I'll use logic to like elaborately like dismantle myself, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but or like you could even, I think an easier way to think about it would be like somebody that spends too much time thinking that they actually don't do things, right? Like analysis paralysis, you know? And so logic being like a tool you use and then accidentally paralyze yourself with. In those situations, jumping to an extreme of being like, you know what, this doesn't matter, it's stupid. It can work. You know, maybe it's not the best play. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of just randomly coming in with a really extreme thought to just dismantle whatever is going on in my brain. Just like, F it, we ball, throw in some random crap, right? As opposed to doing something like this, which is a lot more, I think, I don't know, like maybe conventionally healthy, acknowledging that we are often incapable, right? Like that's like temperate and like in such, but sometimes it's kind of like dire circumstance equals dire action, right? Like sometimes when the chips are down, you don't got the time to do it the healthy way. You just got to go in and be like, F logic, F all this, I don't care, on to the next, right? Which is like low key what Kambaru, like it's a dire moment with all this stuff going on in the episode, and a Kambaru goes in and just starts going off, right? And I'm just kind of like, go monkey girl, like that's my girl right there. Keep speaking your truth, right? So yeah. Definitely a big difference though, and this isn't a healthy thing to always think for sure, but yeah. Wake up. Almost a year has passed between the main story and the end of the episode. Wake up. I'm very aware. Like as I said earlier, it's literally a arc of Araragi telling Ogi these things. So everything that happens is very fresh on Araragi's mind as he moves in, as we see him in the epilogue, right? Which includes, he literally in the episode has the Senjugahara stuff, right? He has the Senjugahara stuff about like him being special in her eyes, him being special in Kambaru's eyes, right? Guess what? He tells that to Ogi, and then he finishes talking to Ogi, and then walks off to go meet Gon in the shrine. That's not gonna go well, right? So he's aware of these things, and even before that, he says the whole like nobody's happy thing. So he's explaining, which requires like reflection on these events, right? These events are very fresh in his mind, and then he still says these things with Ononoki. So like the time difference here, like there's a reason that the way this is being presented is with Ogi, with him telling it to Ogi, right? And I think like I'm pretty locked in on that. I think that's an important element to kind of keep going. So I'm not sure, maybe there's some other element you're talking about, but there's one sentence, so I don't got much to say. But yeah, so Monofitari. Yosh, you little Yoshi. Okay. This is the thing about the first. I kind of talked about that last time. I think we're gonna the phone call. However, I thought this was a kind of interesting line. How everyone thinks Araragi is the only one for Senjo, as in the perfect match, but it's actually the other way around. So like that she's the only one for him. Dang. I mean, it's kind of true, is it not? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just my little soulmate romantic heart, beating at its seams, going, but, at least none of the other characters, like, especially Hanakawa, like, you compare it to Hanakawa, poor girl was going through a lot on her own, right? Like, they did not, Araragi and Hanakawa, I think, kind of would have been a mess. So, like, I think them as a pair work really strongly. So to see that as, like, Senjo being the one for him, I kind of like. But anyways, janitor, this poor guy. Honestly, poor like every NPC in the background that doesn't get put into the story. They out here like getting electrocuted by Black Hanakawa just when they're walking down the street or whatever, and they don't even get to be in the story, right? Like the amount of like collateral damage could be crazy. The laugh is his, and then the talisman. This is like, I thought this was cool of when he's looking at the temple to see Shinobu sleeping, he's actually looking at the talisman. Dang, Araragi cooking, bro. Yeah, that's recontextualization, man. And then we also see like the different perspectives through the different stories, which is something we've talked about. Ogi go home. Where does Ogi even live? Araragi's basement. Araragi's basement, bro. Araragi doesn't even know he has a basement. He just got a basement, and Ogi's down there just chilling like a little villain. That would be actually crazy if Ogi lived, like if Ogi actually like spent time in the house, with like people not knowing, like as like a hidden intruder type thing, because that's kind of how, or like as like a dark undercurrent in like that basement idea. It kind of crazy. Logical maxing in Shinobu plate mail, basically so true. Okay. Oh man, try not to spend 40 minutes talking about the comments, but you're not even done yet, because there's another one. So this is the Serish Tar comment. We got it through a Discord message here. There's a couple juicy things in here. Let me take a sip of my water. Low-key, I want to take off my pants. It is so hot in this room. I got shorts underneath. Calm down. Don't look at me like that, okay? I'm not gonna strip on camera. That's just strange, even if I am clothed underneath. Okay, pause. Run it back. Let's actually look at this. So, whatever. Some of this stuff. Okay. Hachikuji. Let me do. Wait. Okay. So yeah, a lot of this I like quite a bit. This part of Shinobu of Hachikuji leaving is kind of Shinobu's fault. Is something I've talked about before, which then I think was kind of like me trying to figure out like how this whole like resentment idea of resentment coming into play functions, right? So it being attached to losing Hachikuji because this arc is immediately after losing Hachikuji makes a lot of sense. So I'm good with that. Hanakawa's denial of the self. Tiger shows up, burns down his place of learning, right? The cram school. True monster convinces him not to indulge. Wait, let me find the juicy bits. The juicy bits that I wanted to commentate on. Without Hachikuji, he's lost with Kanbaru as he's trying to get to Shinobu. We've seen that before. We talked about that, and that was I like that point as well. Because it makes us like even more aware of like the like not having Hachikuji with us. Like that's kind of a like a little bit of a subtextual way to like show that like, oh, this is usually when Hachikuji would be here, but we don't have Hachikuji. That's kind of the undercurrent for the arc, right? But then Kanbaru sees Shinobu, starts cooking, right? In a good way, right? She's like heart eyes all over her. Dang, she really flips on her later too, because she's later pressing Shinobu so much. That's kind of crazy, actually. That like Kanbaru's like, she kind of like flippy floppy with it, you know, where she kind of toggles on and then toggles off. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Suggestive code is gone, changing the way that he's considering things, which is the associations and stuff, which is important because of how oddities work. We're good with that. Which I think has maybe like a deeper, you could probably even connect that deeper with like the power of conceptualization, that the way that you conceptualize yourself, the way that you conceptualize your issues is, I think, a large part for how you deal with them and how intense they are, right? So if you conceptualize yourself in a very positive light, like it's like self-perception, kind of that thing with Araragi from earlier. If you have a very strong self-concept, then that will impact reality. That will impact how the world feels to you. That will impact how you feel in the world. That will impact your abilities, right? Versus if you have a really poor self-conception, right? Or just conceptualize things in different ways, right? Like you can conceptualize your own brain in so many ways, right? Your own sense of self, right? I could yap about that for freaking a yapologist, right? I don't know, like even just a very basic one, the whole id, ego, superego. If you really try to like apply that to yourself, you can really start being like, oh, like where would this part of me, right? Like, oh, I like food. What part does that go in? That goes in the id, you know? But just if you do that a lot, I think you can kind of uncover like, oh, like maybe this thing that I feel like is part of myself, maybe that's more part of my moral system than anything else, right? Blah, blah, blah. And so in that way, what Gon's doing here, I think is something that people do in real life in where for Gon, she's kind of giving Araragi different ways to conceptualize oddities, right? Which then impacts the oddities, but then in real life, it's like the different ways that you conceptualize your brain, how you function, your relationships, etc., will also impact those things, right? How you perceive something is incredibly important for how you deal with something, right? But yeah. Anyways, that was just a little thing that I like that focus on. Araragi always had the proclivity to compare himself to his senpais. Yeah, this was okay. So this was the first cool thing that I wanted to like think about. The idea that Araragi feels like in what's the word? Like incomparable. No, comparable but worse. Not insignificant, not good enough. I'll just use that. That Araragi feels not good enough compared to Seishiro. That's really interesting to me, right? So, even knowing nothing about Seishiro, back in Kizu, his first question about Seishiro is, am I like him? And him ignoring Shinobu's wish to die instantly made him draw the connection to how Seishiro abandoned her as well. Seishiro is his ultimate senpai, a killer of monsters, a better version of Araragi himself. He found himself in the same situation, but acted responsibly by killing himself. Heroes cannot allow monsters to live. He rejected the temptation of a life outside human society that enticed Araragi. Because that's what happened in Kizu, right? That's really interesting to me, right? And so that would feed into why I think Araragi feels so guilty about what happened with Seishiro. And how he's with Shinobu now. And so it's like he got in the way and stole Shinobu from someone that would have been better, you know? So that's like deep rooted insecurity that's just popping off. I think like even in how he looks, like last episode I said that Seishiro had Araragi's hair thing, especially when he was jumping at him with the sword. And I think compared his clothing to Kaiki, which maybe you could do some elaborate stuff there. But to see him in that way, I think can make some sense. I found the line of he rejected the Araragi, or no. Seishiro rejected the temptation of a life outside human society that enticed Araragi. I think that it's interesting because as soon as Araragi became like kind of truly aware of what was going on with Shinobu, like when she was eating, I think Dramaturgy, whatever that guy's name was, Rip Bozo. Whenever she was like chowing on him and then Araragi freaked out, that's when it like all came crashing down. But he was already so attached to Kiss Shot that he couldn't let go of her, right? I think that's kind of the way I'd consider that, though. Man, it's been like 9 months since I watched Kizu. So in that way, it's like he kind of got lulled into the temptation of a life outside human society, as opposed to seeing it and then like falling for it, right? He got like coaxed into it, you know, because, and I mean, it started right when he got bit by Shinobu. I guess that was the first choice when there was an option to get bit, and he was like, I'll save her. Like he prioritized, he was his like own compassion, or whatever you want to call it, his own like martyrdom or whatever, the mixed bag that is Araragi's desire to help other people, took priority over the heroic drive to kill monsters and save, you know, in that way. So yeah, I think that can cook pretty hard. Man, the heroic drive, it's crazy because it's like how much is that based off of his like functions of like if he didn't have a fractured sense of justice, would he have rejected the temptation of a life outside human society that Shinobu kind of offered him through him becoming a vampire, right? Would he have rejected saving Shinobu had his sense of justice never been broken through Sodachi, you know? I feel like yeah. I feel like thematically it's a yes. Even if like realistically it might not be the case because Araragi's complicated. I think the point is that the justice being broken is what led to this, which then now Araragi's in a mixed bag where he's in a sense of gray constantly. He's in a half human, half oddity state, constantly trying to apply black and white and just spiraling, right? But that's all based off of, I think, those initial cracks. And so if those cracks weren't there, then none of this would have happened, right? Gotta be kind of the idea there. So, anyways, I thought that was the point. But now Araragi finds out he couldn't find peace even in death, a fatal realization for Araragi, who seeks comfort from thoughts of dying. Something I was talking about as well, like having that choice is extremely, I think, powerful, and realizing that you actually can't die would be like incredibly scary, especially for Araragi. So I agree with that completely. Then he also craves the connection to Shinobu so much that he returned from nothingness. Do I have a reason to resent her? Decisive yes for both of them. Maybe bitter at the time, but now I'm actually thankful for her. Araragi can't admit, but Helpei feels the exact same way as the elevator descends into the darkness of where this thought process leads him. Because yeah, being thankful to what you would originally conceive as a monster that needs to be slayed, like that can definitely take you pretty crazy places. If someone who is his better in every way couldn't escape her clutches, what chance does he have? He is confronted with an offer of being released from Shinobu that leaves no room for excuses as to why he can't accept it, and so, unbeknownst to him, against his will, his resentment is directly confronting Shinobu, and in doing so, highlights how alike the two of them are. Kanbaru illuminates the vagueness of Araragi's resentment to the point it's no longer just about Shinobu, but his unwillingness to deal with people honesty in general. Parallels Shinobu with Seishiro and Araragi with Hanakawa. I definitely like that last part of like how Kanbaru's yapping onto Shinobu isn't even just about Shinobu and Seishiro, but is also like a message to Araragi, which then connects to Hanakawa like the best. And we see that like immediately after this, he goes to Tsubasa Tiger to like actually deal with that. So I think that has a really, really strong through line. So yeah, I'm kind of fine with that. I guess I'm a little like where does exactly the thought process take him here of being like having that thankfulness to Shinobu? Like what does that do? You know what I mean? It's a crazy spot where like things are so chaotic for this guy and like complicated and like gray and it's like dealing with self concepts which can like invert really quickly, you know, and how someone views himself, I think has a tendency to like horseshoe theory just immediately go to the extreme opposite. Like it can be kind of crazy to like follow that in a way. I mean, and that, man, what I was just saying about like complete opposite, kind of what like Kanbaru does with Shinobu, where she like falls in love with her and then starts to like condemn her, you know. But yeah, this is too much for him. He'd rather die in a pointless duel while pretending it's for someone else, and send his resentment to deal with Hanakawa. Yet witnessing Shinobu dealing with Seishiro in a classic cram school better late than never fashion, he can't help but do the same. Which, of course, is him going to Tsubasa Tiger. And I agree with this part. If he'd rather die in a pointless duel while pretending it's for someone else. I like that for sure. And that's kind of the thing where, like, him waking Shinobu up maybe disrupts that. Which is, you know, I don't know. Maybe I gotta actually read the novel to see how that, like, that chunk of the novel to see exactly how that panned out. Because I think that is very important to get a read on like his conception of or like his approach to the situation, whether or not he like awakens Shinobu or not. But yeah, anyways, it becomes impossible for him to consider Shinobu a monster any longer. I mean, he's literally like, it's crazy because he's literally at that point like following in her footsteps, right? If Shinobu as a monster is dealing with Seishiro in a way that like he then like gains an obligation to deal with Hanakawa afterwards, then you're literally following the lead of a monster, you know? So like, can it even be a monster anymore kind of deal? Yeah. But yeah, okay. Last ditch effort to disperse rather than absorb the talisman. Shinobu is completely humanized in his mind, and now there is no fake monster left for him to blame his problems on. No choice but to hold hands with the true monster. What to do, he already knows, and it's why he didn't want to tell the story until now. And what to do, he already knows. Do you mean like go into Gain and getting murked? Because he talks with Ononoki afterwards, which is kind of this last bit here. But what does Ononoki do? He throws him harsh truths, but doesn't give him solutions. I mean, that's pretty accurate. We'll reread the dialogue in a second here. I think we'll scroll through it. But it's like, that's not comforting at all, right? You bash someone over the head with how screwed up they are. You don't give them any outs, then they'll make their own out, which I think for Araragi is going to Gon to get himself cut into ribbons, you know? Going to go see Hachikuji, right? This is another, perhaps on some level it was another desperate bid to retreat to his inner child, right? Which we've talked about the whole inner child thing a couple of times. I like the terminology, even if the term implies some things that like I don't like, that maybe aren't what I mean. I do like the term enough that I'm gonna keep using it. So, inner child, stop me, you can't. Anyways, but yeah, that'd be kind of a fun way to think about it. So yeah, he already knows. No choice but to hold hands with the true monster. What to do? He already knows, and it's why he didn't want to tell the story until now. True monster. It's just like, I think it's just it pulls away the symptom that he's been blaming that he's been able to like focus on, right? Or it's like, no longer can you've lost your negative coping mechanism, right? And so if that loses its novelty, charm, effectiveness, whatever, you still have all your unresolved issues that was like the temporary band-aid for. You still have the wound underneath, to use like Kizu terminology. You either need a new coping mechanism, positive or negative, or an out, right? And for Araragi, I think death is the out, which is why he goes to Gon. Yeah, so basically Pog. I'm feeling pretty good about a lot of that. Anything else? I think that's all the comments here. I do want to pull up. Let me just pull up real quick. Boom. This is kind of cool. So I was looking at, let me just get Owari up. So this is Owari episode 13, which is obviously what we just last watched. Look at this. Araragi walking up the stairs. He's wearing his little olive hoodie or whatever. Now this is Koyomi 12, Koyomi dead. Boom. Same sweater, same walking, you know? This is the start of Koyomi episode 12. So I think it's literally, like, chronologically, Owari 13 straight into Koyomi 12, which we've already seen. Or mostly, maybe not immediately. Kakinori Yuzuru had disappeared. And since then, almost a month had passed. That was in the past, right? That lines up? Does that line up? Because he's not. I think this is the same walk, right? I think this is the same walk up. No, I had unhonorably gone to the shrine every day. Or maybe there was a little bit of a gap here and he just kept going up there. Oh, I actually don't know. Would he wear the same olive hoodie twice in a row? You know what I mean? Because in one way, I almost... Well, no, but he's... Okay, does he engage with Hanakawa at all in here? He engages with Senjo a little bit. These are mostly flashbacks, I think. To all the other people, all the other characters, right? Which is kind of like a pretty ominous... Here's Hanakawa. Oh, she's sleeping in a train. So perhaps it's been a little bit, because otherwise it would literally... No. Because it's right after talking to Ogi. No, yeah, we're good. So, I mean, it's kind of besides the point whether it's been a few days and this is a pattern between Kiyomi 12 and Oni 13, or Owari 13, or whether this is literally the last time he talks to Oninoki or not, right? For all intents and purposes, I'm just going to consider it as he knows he's walking up to his death here, because look at the look in his eyes. Channel management. No thank you. But yeah, so I just thought that was cool that it's literally the same outfit, right? So that was kind of fun. So yeah, he gets cut into a million pieces, basically. Hachikuji. Aww. Hachikuji! Okay, sorry. That's just from Kiyomi 12. That's just from Kiyomi 12. But yeah, okay. Let me go to Owari 13. We'll scroll through this a little bit. This opening about Senjugahara being kind of real with him, right? About the desire to be a better person, the viewing of other people, right? Instead of self-perspective, like other perspective, you know? Which is kind of crazy, bro. Like, think about it that way, right? Like for Araragi, as someone that I think is in his own head a lot and gets that tunnel vision, right? Compare that to Senjugahara, who out here, like, thinking about other people and being worthy of other people instead of just falling into yourself and being unworthy for yourself, right? By, like, basing it on the people around you, by basing yourself in a broader web versus in just a sinking hole, I think is really pogged, personally. I think that's a move. Though, I'm also kind of a hoe. I think it's kind of... I'm also kind of a hoe for, like, individuality, but we'll let it slide for now. But or even that of, like, is it a burden for you for me to, like, strive to be better with you? I mean, and he says no. He probably thinks it's a burden for other people whenever they strive to be worthy of him. Like Shinobu, compared to Seishiro, right? This little goober. But yeah, the conditional part of the bond, which gives him something that he would need to strive for. The ability to fail, which then, like, forces him to actually act, like, take some responsibility, which I quite, you know, I mean, that's kind of crazy too, that, like, Shinobu's, or, Senjugahara's like, yo, it's not unconditional, it is conditional, right? That forces Araragi to take some responsibility and make some moves, else, problems, or else he won't get the love anymore, right? So, it's like a bid from Senjugahara to make him, like, lock in a bit. Aww. I love Senjugahara. Aww, it's so cute. Goated girlfriend right there. Wait. Look, there's 2 stars in the sky. Wait, wasn't there one earlier? When they were looking up in a previous shot? Oh, there was only one in this shot. But now they're together. If just for a moment, before he goes and does a bunch of nonsense. But yeah, let's go with you, Seishiro. Kambaru giving him the buff. When does he, like, send... Oh, right here. Okay, so this is when Gon's like, yo, you have to make a choice. And, oh yeah, it gives you a reason to stop this duel. She gives him an out. He refuses it, tries to save everyone. It's just crazy that, like, she puts in so much effort for Araragi. And I still, like, am so curious as to why. I just have to accept that, like, he's that important, you know? She's, like, the weirdest therapist, bro. I feel like we've said that before, but yeah. Man, it's just... it's just the big questions of, oh yeah, because Senjugahara, the house was about to be on fire. That's right. Wasn't that it? Because Senjugahara's house was gonna be on fire because Tsubasa stayed there. So boom. That's the problem. Yeah, that's right. Um, it's just Gon. What's your game? Gon, what's your game? Right? You do all this, kind of trying to like call him out on his tunnel vision. He and gives him attempts to give him an out for the duel. Why would you want an out for the duel? Oh my goodness, my brain's starting to slow down. That's what happens when we're an hour into the app. And why are you so happy about it? Do you hear it in her voice? She is literally pogging. I mean, I know it's through. Okay, calm down. I know it's through Araragi's perspective, but it's like, bruh. Like, are you really that nefarious, Gon? Or what? Wait. What does he send her to do? Run to your house. Bye, Kambaru. Nyum. You really see only what's in front of you. That's true. It's true that you might need to be able to respond to both situations if you sing Kambaru. True. Let me just rewatch this so I can figure out what's happening. Because doesn't he then say it's about trust, that he like trusts them? Yeah. That's kind of fun too, that she said that Gon here says like, even if that's the choice, like people still have feelings. That's kind of that thing of logic we were saying earlier with like what Kambadu's doing, where it's like, even if it's logically correct and it makes the most sense, like people still have emotional, illogical attachments that can like kind of need to be part of the formula, or like a formula doesn't really apply to, right? Gon is such a little weird rat. But I should trust them. Yeah. What a real one. But you won't trust you, but you'll trust them. They are special to me and will understand. But they're special to you, but you're special to them, bro. You little hypocrite. You little hypocrite that prioritizes little girls over lovers and friends. This guy, bro. This guy. But yeah. Sword gets dropped in. Episode's on standby. Oh, well, the sword's right here. What happens to the sword afterwards? Wait, that could be where she gets the sword. Okay, so Araragi's holding the sword. This is such a crazy shot, by the way. As he gets blammed. Sea urchin. There was a sea urchin oddity, bro, that he was slurping on. He gets turned into, like, the mud. And then... This is actually so sweet, actually, by the way. Yeah, and then Ogi comes on screen and ruins the moment. That's what it was. So there's the armor. Araragi's still holding the sword. That shot goes so hard. That line is so sad. This commentary goes hard, crazy right now. Playing. That's a really good shot of Shinobu too. I literally used that for the thumbnail. Oh, and the moon. Oh my goodness, I forgot what they're doing with the moon. That the environment is literally bending around, bro. It's also crazy that like what originally is the source of light, the moon, well, the source of reflected light, that could even be important. But whatever is a source of light has been inverted into a source of darkness, you know? It makes me think of Ogi. Just the darkness element, right? Because Ogi do be kind of like pitch black, you know, pitch black eyes kind of thing. And so like the whole idea of Ogi being like the shadow self or whatever, it's like what is normally like there's the bright normal self, the moon, and then the shadow self, the dark moon, right? His suicide was finally successful. And then Araragi like laments that it's not satisfying for him, right? So he's holding the sword here, and then we cut away. What happens to that sword? I assume Shinobu just gets it. Unless I'm forgetting some like part in some arc that's between this and the epilogue where Gon can get the sword from. I don't know where she got that freaking heart span from, bro. Because she either made it out of the armor, but that doesn't really make sense because I trust Ogi. Ogi's a rat, but I trust Ogi's information to be pretty correct. Pajama Araragi. But yeah, we did all that. Meta. Ogi, stop being so meta. Oh, I like making this coherent. That's the fun part of watching Monogatari. Can you shut up? Just tell me how the show functions, bro. You little rat. Right, entrance exam time. Here we go. Shaded, I think, is that important? He's like dismissing. He knows it's important, but he's like dismissing it. Attempting to dismiss. Ogi's not letting it happen. If you melt it down, you can reforge it as another Demon Sword Heartspan. Or ideally into Dreamspan. Why is that ideal for you? You can't just give Araragi you can't give Araragi Hachikuji back. You can't. Let me let it play. In fact, ideally as a short sword Dreamspan. What are you reviving, Gon? What would you want to revive, right? I don't think it's Hachikuji because he needs to grow up. And I think Hachikuji is the tool he uses to stay as a child. But maybe you could have some sort of elaborate thing of how, like, he can connect with Hachikuji in, like, some sort of way that he still grows up. But not by not abandoning his child, but by, like, accepting it in a way. I don't know. Because it's like, what is it to grow up, right? Like, there's not one answer I can give, right? It's not like I can, like, view the human experience of aging and be like, oh, that has simple answers. Let me apply it to this show. It doesn't, right? People grow up in so many different ways. There's, you know, the whole thing of conceptions. There are so many ways to conceive yourself as growing up, right? Are you one person that's changed, or are you two different people, right? Are you the same person as you were a kid, you know? Like, even something as simple as that can cause a lot of craziness, right? A little bit of a ship of Theseus for yourself type behavior. You can do a lot of stuff there. So, like, do you have to truly abandon your younger self to go get older? Or is there a way that you can, like, accept, perhaps integrate with your younger self to properly get older, you know? It depends on who you ask, you know? So, is there a world that, like, reviving Hachikuji could be, like, some sort of crazy play? I think, yeah. That would be sick. But is there also a world where she's kind of supposed to be dead? Yes! I think both can make sense, right? Like, both can make sense for, like, conceiving how one grows up, how one ages. So it's hard to, like, say one way or another what, like, would or should happen. It's just crazy, like, why would she want Dreamspan? What oddity are you reviving, you know? If not Hachikuji, which I'm kind of on the idea. I mean, Araragi? So you're just going to kill him to rev him? But what's the point of that? Just to show him that killing him isn't the answer? That death isn't the answer? He can't just use that as an escape hatch? Because using that as an escape hatch is, like, life negating, and you're, like, avoiding the potential of actually living life by constantly dreaming about not living it. And so by getting rid of that hypothetical, you are forcing Araragi to live his life, to properly engage with his life, which then will force him to start to integrate with Ogi, because otherwise Ogi is just all his repressed stuff that he ignores in his freaking fantasizing about not having to live life. So Ogi comes in and lives it for him type deal. Even Araragi's like, what the heck is a Dreamspan? Oh, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, well, okay, so Gon has no reason to do that. Well, she has reason to kill you. I'm good on that. Right? The whole shogi metaphor. Shogi, ogi. You know what I'm saying? And Araragi's like, she probably just ate it. Stop stressing, bro. And then she drops his entire full name, which implies that Araragi always knew it, but then somehow just didn't think about it. I think that means that, like, yeah, Araragi knew his full name, didn't admit it to himself because it was, like, too troubling for him. So Ogi, being a little derogatory rat, jabs it into him at the last second just to make him suffer, right? Because she likes watching him suffer, because she is self-flagellating. Because she is him. She is him, bro. Tombstone. Put it on the tombstone. Okay. And then Ononoki comes in and says, Elbozo, 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 your perspective is bad. Admit it to me. Admit to me. Araragi doom posts the hardest I've ever doom posed. Literally, look at this. If I am a vampire, if I'm with Shinobu, it only imposes a burden on others. Contrast to this. Where is it? Something about burdens. She literally said something about burdens. Right? It's like that saying right here. Or something like this. That like being with Kanbaru would have forced me to be a better person. Yeah, would have required me to be a better person. I stole her away to become worthy enough to be your bride, right? But that's not a burden. Exactly. He says it's not a burden for your attachment to me to make you want to change. But then at the end, he says my attachment to Shinobu makes me a burden onto others, right? So it's different, but it's kind of hypocritical. And Ononoki just calls him out on everything. Because you won't be happy and aren't trying to be. Call Sodachi. Literally call Sodachi. She's literally my goat. Or Numachi. I don't know where Numachi. Sorry, we don't need to talk about Numachi. She is like not relevant right now. Or maybe she's super relevant and I don't know why. But yeah, honestly, I think we're gonna watch the episode. Oh, bro, this is the coziest chair. Oh my goodness, I love this chair. Okay, Owari 13. Let me pull up. Boom. Owari. Oh wait, no. Boom. Final season. So we have. I got confused for a second there. So okay, it actually doesn't even matter. I just got confused with my files for a minute there, but we're fine now. We got it. Owari season 2. Let me not look because I know it's gonna do stuff. View details. Okay. Episode 1. Are we gonna get a new OP? We're probably gonna get a new OP, huh? Chapter 1. What if I just don't watch it? What if I just don't watch it because I'm scared? Let me take another sip of my water, then we'll watch it, okay? Okay. Episode 1. Or season 2. Are we going to be in the land of the dead? Hachikuji? Maybe a Hachikuji action? I don't know. I don't even know where else we would be, though, bro. Is it going to be someone else's perspective? I could see that. Imagine Ogi's just like... Maybe it's Ogi telling the story. And Ogi's like, oh, why do I feel kind of weird? No. Oh, I guess Araragi died. That's kind of crazy. I don't freaking know. Is it going to be from Araragi's perspective in the dead world? Or is it going to be from someone else's perspective? That's the question. I'd want to say Araragi, right? No, but it could be the plays of, like, now that the king has fallen, watching all the pieces run around. That could be kind of crazy. If it was, like, a bunch of different people's perspective. That'd be kind of sick. As everything starts to spiral out of control, that kind of even is like a meta move that like things are truly falling apart if we're bouncing between different narrators. Ooh, I don't know. Let's just jump into it. Episode 1 of Owarimonogatari season 2. Let's get this going in a 3, a 2, a 1. Bang. What does that sound? Okay, Hachikuji. Okay. Aww. Damn. Yeah. Hachikuji in the clouds. Whoa. Right, the desire to see Hachikuji, right? Ooh, that's Kizu. Yeah. Those mantras, bro. This is crazy. Whoa. I hold this feeble self very dear. Ogi, what are you doing here, bro? Man's literally going to the afterlife right now. Damn. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Is that Hachikuji? Is this a... Yay! Okay, it's a Hachikuji arc, bro. Mayoi hell? What the... Okay, no. No, no, we're supposed to be in heaven, not in hell. Wait, no, Hachikuji's in hell? No, 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 no. She's going down the stairs. Dude, no, not the Hachikuji in hell arc. Downstairs is not good. We want to go upstairs. She's drowning. Hachikuji's drowning. What is going on, dude? Your little backpack, you little goofy Hachikuji, bro. Oh, this is about to be so fire. Oh, this is about... As long as I exist right here, crazy line. Oh, my Hachikuji. Clock? Don't give me clock. Don't give me a clock right now. I can't handle the... Stop twerking. You're... Get out of here. You can't give me a clock imagery, bro. Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, bam! Sorry. Hachikuji. The tree, bro. Hi, Hachikuji. Why are we in hell? Are we in hell? Are we in hell? Hachikuji, are we in hell? I thought this place looked pleasant last time we were here. For the little blimp we saw. Hachikuji? 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 No, you should panic. Okay. You're dead. You're not making it to the exam in time, bro. Mm-hmm. Gone. Massive sword. Murder. Senjo's calling you. Really sad. One last pull back to the land of the living. Why is it called Mayoi Hell, bro? Hachikuji, this place looks pleasant. I don't see no pitchforks. I do not see no pitchforks. He sleeps... Wait, that's literally how I sleep. Yeah, real. Hachikuji! Then what are you gonna do, bro? Wow, all the way back here to the first spot that he met her. No hug? No hug? Wait, what are you gonna do, bro? You're like teasing me. Ah, but you're right. Really? If that was Araragi, then he's already dead. You are dead. Is death your chance to remake yourself? Oh my goodness, that gave me Evangelion flashbacks. That's the same sound effect they used in Evangelion. What the heck? Bro, stop yapping and start saying hi to Hachikuji. A bunch of virtues. Get out of the bath. He's just distracted. He's like, I don't want you to see me hug Hachikuji, so I'm just gonna yap about nonsense. There we go. Wait, where is she? 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 Okay, she's right there. Thank goodness. Oh, he's off. He's off like a rocket. Where's he going? Yeah? No, your jacket. She's me, bro. Hachikuji. There it is. See, you're gonna do it. What do you think you're... He's like, oh, that different Hadaraki. I'm a new me. Yeah, okay, dude. As if. Yeah. Yeah, he's really indulging himself right now, bro. Calm down with that. Calm down with it, bro. She's going unconscious. That's bad. Bad touch. 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 Hachikuji. Yeah, bad touch. Bad touch. Stop. No, cut it out. Too far. Not the eye. Oh, she getting abstract. There. Yeah, there it goes. Now bite him. Good move. Good move. Pac-Man him. Pac-Man him. It's like she never left, bro. Flip him. Yeah, gotta move. In the skybox? Yeah, a lot of things went wrong, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I kind of forgot about that one. Yeah. Bad things happen to you? Phrasing. The true hell might have been these past months. Araraki-san. Why are you doing a magical girl thing? Yes, get away from him. Good move, Hachikuji. Yes. She really playing like a roundy, bro. That's right. That's right. She fit her bung, bro. Let her fit her bung and damn. A great knit hit. Real. Hachikuji. What? She's about to say something crazy. Okay. You're in hell now. Why are we in hell? We're not at the shrine. Yeah. Oh, he hasn't even realized that he's dead. Whoa, okay, just kidding. We've transported. Is it formed by ourself, right? That could get really scary if it's formed by what we're thinking. Because then he can start thinking of really scary things. Please tell me not that. What's happening? It's that you have appeared before me. No, okay. Yeah, go move. I got you. I thought she was about to say, it's really me, Ogi in disguise. Could you imagine something like that? I'd lose it. No, okay, yeah, this is what we think is happening. We're good. Bozo. Kill me dead right there. Ouch. Why is it hell? Why is Hachikuji in the lowest pit of hell? Dante, I think you messed it up. Avicii? I mean, Araragi, of course, thinks he belongs here, like low-key, probably, right? I don't know what Avicii is. Okay, it's really bad, apparently. No, I'm wondering why you fell into it. You're Hachikuji. You're just Hachikujing it up. I guess that makes sense for him, yeah. But what about you? Oh, she's my Dante, bro. She's Dante. Give me a little tour. Or who's the guy that gives Dante a tour? I actually forget. Oh, he's drowning. That's what I'm saying. Good question. Why is Hachikuji in hell? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, what sin did you do? It's crazy. It's like I don't know who came with that rule, but it's stupid. Why would that make any sense? Who came up with this? Was it you, Araragi? I don't know. Like, I don't know how to even think about hell, right? Oh, did you come down here willingly? Did you follow him down? What happened? Oh my goodness, she went into the bottom of hell to wait for him. That is so sweet. My sweet little Dante Kuji. Stop doing that to each other. Why are you doing that? Oh, the booty bomb. Who's here that dead? Who's here? Say who? Ga and Oshino? What if Oshino is here? He's been dead all along. I'd believe that. Who are we going to? What the hell is happening? No pun intended. This place is crazy. What is happening? Where are we going? Oh my goodness, we're getting like stylistic. I'm telling you, our object rather than our objective. It's my job to have you resurrected, okay? Yeah, good question. What could you accomplish by staying dead? Okay, is that why she wanted Dreamspan? Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. That's a great way to phrase it. We subtract it into negative and then back to positive? Are we flashback? Where are we? This is like where we met Kishot. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's a shot from. Is that a shot from Bake 1? I feel like I've seen this exact shot before. Whoa. Is she gonna like train him? But you still reflexively went for her, bro. Wow, you haven't learned a thing, bro. At least in that way. Hachikuji. Bro, why is Hachikuji our guide through hell? I never could have seen this coming. I couldn't even. Bro, I want Hachikuji to guide me through hell. What? Look how adorable she is, just chilling. She's just having a good time. No, the perverts, they go to heaven. I'm playing. He's lusting over Hachikuji. I mean Hanakawa there. What is going on? Okay, but in reality. Okay, fair. That's fair. That's fair. Uh, uh. Exposing truths that didn't need to be exposed. That's a crazy thing to say. Oh my goodness, there's like things on the walls and stuff. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. Fishies. Senjo. We're gonna keep flashbacking back and back and back and back, right? Into all his choices. Choices are so powerful, right? This shows how he's built his reality, right? Well, but it's instinctual for him, which is kind of a point, I guess. Kaiki, yeah. He would have connected with her. Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's doing a little heart. You little troll. Hachikuji. I didn't know you were crazy like that. You're leaving him behind. Wait for him to catch up. Kind of like this Shinobu thing with Seishu, bro. He's like, get cooked, Omega lol. He's okay, so he's super fine with seeing him as a villain, yeah. Okay, lastly. Ooh, good question. What does that mean? Crazy transition. This is crazy. Hachikuji! Right? But would you do it now? I still can't deny that I wish I'd done a better job. That is so, like, paradoxical, bro. Oh, this music. Oh, this music. This is crazy. Wait, I'm actually, like... This music's kind of doing something to me. Ooh, like Hanakawa has. So true. The goat. And then she brings up Ononoki when it comes. That's because Ononoki all about just like laying it out, you know. As one who appointed her as my successor, that's a relief to hear. She handed Araragi off. Aw, the sanctioned snail successor. Ononoki's tough love. Ononoki's tough love. Due to time constraints, we couldn't get her for filming. Producer Hachikuji. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, real. Balance. Woo, beautiful shot. That's me. Whoa. The moon is like weeping. Oh, it is the moon. It's the phases of the moon. Um, excuse me? Then I want to talk about something else. What do you mean it'll be our last conversation? No, you're here for the entire arc. It was literally your picture in the OP. About righting wrongs and doing the right thing. Ooh, good line. They are. Because in one of them a wrong happened. Yeah. But if you always do the right thing, no one will notice. Like, that's, you know, it's way less satisfying to just do the right thing in the first place. A pitch black sort of right. It made a tree. It made a tree. What are you yapping about? Yeah. They're bridged. They're cut off. They're cut off from each other. It keeps changing. Uh, yeah, why are you saying that, bro? Good question. That was a really good question, actually. Ogi. Ogi, 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 Ogi. We're talking to Hachikuji about Ogi. Oh, shoot. We're really close to the peak. Are we going to have the time? That's a really crazy statement. That's a crazy, crazy statement for him to say. Is that... Oh, I guess you are dead. What, Tadatsuru or whatever your name? I kind of forgot. Hey, I guess you are dead. What's good? That's the end? Oh my goodness. Oh my... That felt like 2 seconds. That felt like 2 seconds. What's going on? Hachikuji Cube! She's in a cube, bro. Wait, this looks like the movie Cube. Wait, what is going on here, Hachikuji? Ooh, yin and yang, light and dark. Streetlights, streetlight kind of type imagery in the back. Her future shown. Ogi, I'm seeing Ogi. I'm seeing Ogi, bro. Aw, Hachikuji's in a little dress. Little angel wings. What is this hell location? Is this even like is there even like an objective reality of hell, or is this just an Araragi conception construction, right? I still pity myself. Good line. Grow up to become someone different? Whoa. Oh, I'm seeing Buck AED. The Buck AED is flashing in there. Araragi and Shinobu, bro? What? Oh, why are we in hell? Okay, whoever designed hell, I'm firing them. Hachikuji's in hell because she died before her parents? What kind of logic is that, bro? Is that literally just, like, that's why I'm saying, bro. Like, is it even a thing about... Like, are there even rules of hell? Or is that just whatever Araragi came up with so that he could have Hachikuji with him? You know what I mean? Like, because like in a structuring where Araragi is so foundationally lost and broken, right? Having an objective rules of hell and the afterlife would be something to base himself off of. That's why there's such thing as organized religion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of thinking that all of this could even be like some oddity human influenced mumbo jumbo. You know what I'm saying? Though this guy's here, freaking dead specialist guy. Is his name Tadatsuru? I don't even recall. They didn't say it again. I think that's his name. And Hachikuji's been chilling here, I guess. So like that doesn't even feel perfect, right? Like I don't know what this place is. Apparently it's hell. I mean, it makes sense that Araragi would send himself to hell. Oh, man. That's crazy. Because death is like an escape, but it's also... It's not... Man, it's a place to self-flagellate if it's hell. You know? It's a place to atone for your sin, right? To be punished for your sin, rather than atone, because there's no end point of atonement for hell, right? I mean... And at least I think my conception of hell... Or what I understand hell to be conceived as, rather. Bro... These shots of these different varying shots of Hachikuji and Araragi just chilling through hell is crazy, though. This place kind of chill, other than drowning, which Araragi drowning is really interesting imagery too, bro. It reminds me of him drowning in the sands of time. And then in the OP we saw Hachikuji in the face of a clock for a minute there. So we did kind of play. Dude, it's just there's so much going on, man. And then as soon as they start doing like him walking through his memories and like thinking about like the choices he's made, especially with Hachikuji here, that started getting me pangs of emotion, bro. When they were going up the shrine steps. There's that really soft piano music. I'm sure I'd act the same way no matter how many times I face the same situation. It's crazy. I mean, it's like the whole like he feels like a puppet thing or whatever. He feels like he's strung along by fate. It's almost like he's strung along by himself, right? I'm sure I'd act the same way no matter how many times I face the same situation. At that point, is it that there's an external thing controlling you, or is it that you are unable to control yourself, right? Because in both ways you lack control. Maybe it's more that, or like a mix of both. I might say a mix of both because he's kind of the divine retribution thing is very external, right? And even being in hell is an attempt of an external punishment. So, but the whole point of like I would make the same decisions is to say that his own decisions, which like the word decision is based on your ability to choose, that he has no choice over. Or at least whatever choice he makes, he would always make, and he doesn't have the potentiality for that to be different. So it's kind of the same thing of having no choice over it. But I still can't deny that I wish I had done a better job. Like, it's that lack of acceptance. It's exactly what Hachikuji says, where it's like, you have to do what Hanakawa said. I feel like Hachikuji was actually spitting some real bars. And like Ononoki as the spiritual successor makes a lot of sense. I quite like that. But the monster's out of the bag, so to say, in that transition. And she's attempting to like, I think you're doing just fine, Araragi. She's attempting to like placate him a bit, or like soothe him a bit, comfort him a bit. This soft piano music was crazy though. Oh my goodness, I'm literally Araragi. This reminiscing is going so hard. Even that wind coming in at that time is so good. There's something about like reminiscing that's so crazy to me, man. Like, I mean, Araragi puts it really well, where it's like the past, like viewing the past, you can't change the past, you know? Like it's always the case from since it happened that Araragi saved Kiss Shot. That's always the case, you know? And so maybe that's kind of what he means. If it's like, because that puts it in reference to like temporality, in reference to time, which I think plays into like the clock stuff a little bit, where that event has happened and it is immutable from that point. But despite having no control over it, he still can't deny that he had done a better job, and that causes him to suffer, you know? So in that way, I mean, his suffering's of his own volition, right? I mean, I'm not surprised about that. I think that's very clear with his character. Kind of makes me think of like stoicism a bit, right? You know, your suffering is all within your own mind. The virtuous person on the rack type behavior. I won't get into that though. Yeah, Araraki, go read a book on stoicism, all right? Then we can talk. Wasn't this shot in Bake? I swear it was. I think it was Bake 1, bro. Or maybe like the Kizu trailer. Wow, that's crazy. But it's crazy because this moment here is showing that even now he would make the same decision. So that makes it not even about the past, but about how despite that moment in the past, right, that you have regretted so much, your regret has not amounted to anything. Your regret has not amounted to any change in your action, in your character, into any development, right? Your regret is like just it's flagellation, right? It's self-flagellation. Look at the way Hachikuji looks at him here too, where she closes her eyes and smiles, where it's just like I knew you would do that. We all knew you would do that because you're hopeless, right? She's like, well, ooh, the butterfly imagery here. She steps into like the butterfly land. Does he follow? Because a butterfly is like metamorphosis. He does follow. I guess it's just insects now. This shot went crazy too. The whales floating in the astral sea, bro. Freaking a platypus. What is the name of that? A stingray. A paper plane. Fishies. My body moved on its own. Because, yeah, I mean, even there, it's like your body moved on its own. You don't even have control over your own body. I mean, that's disturbing. That's a disturbing thought. That you are taking actions which people will ascribe to you because it is your body, but it's an action that you didn't really sign off on, right? I mean, that goes into like sense of self, like a disrupted sense of self where you don't have like a concrete sense of self, like I think can be extremely scary. Kind of in this way that's like your body moves on its own. It's like, was that me or was that something else? Like, am I at fault if my body moves on its own? You know, or I mean, this is a kind of crazy example, but like think about like a car's hurtling in the way of a kid, right? And you have no time to think and it's completely instinctual and you don't push the kid out of the way. Is that your fault? Right? And the kid gets mowed over in front of you and you know you could have jumped in the way and pushed the kid out of the way. You might have gotten killed for it. But in that moment where it was completely up to your subconscious, you're completely up to your instinctual intuition, you chose like that self-preservation over saving the kid. Like people will condemn themselves for that, right? There's no way somebody wouldn't condemn themselves out of that for that, right? They'd be like, oh my god, they would like. I think it would be very reasonable for someone to like blame them. Well, I don't know about reasonable, but I think it'd be very natural for someone to blame themselves for that kid dying, right? Where it's like I could have stopped it, but there's like a difference in the I that you cognitively think and the I of your instinctual body movement, and so in that way you're getting hoed, right? You are suffering because of your instincts not following your will. Even if you wished that you would have saved the kid, no matter what, even if you regret it every day of your life thereafter, right? I mean, even if it happens again, maybe you wouldn't push the kid out of the way because it's just your instincts, you know? It's that level of like cognitive split, that is really scary. That is really scary, right? Yeah. And it can get and it goes into that conceptualization of the mind thing I was talking about, where like, bro, you can split it deeper. You can bisect your mind, not brain, but mind, in so many different conceptions and forms that like whatever you are, whatever the self is, starts to really fall apart, and it's like I don't have control over anything. Like intrusive thoughts are a really good example of that too. She has such a cute little smile. Hachikuji. I still wonder, yeah, those like pointless hypotheticals. I think and dream about it even now. But even after all that, like you still don't think you would do any, you still wouldn't do any different, Araragi. So you just have to accept yourself for what you are. Literally what what Hachikuji said about Hanakawa. So okay, so we went to see Tadatsuru. Okay, bad. I kind of forgot that he was cracked like that. Man, I can't believe he's relevant again. Feels good, man. Good on you. I kind of forgot he died. Yeah. That's what he gets for being in like 2 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's start going. We're going down. Mayoi hell, bro. This opening was great. Him drowning in this OP was crazy too. Let me just play it again. I don't even care. That's something you've told yourself, but it's not necessarily true. For a while, I truly thought that. It's crazy. It's crazy you say this all, because, like, I think, like, he's saying that for a while he thought that, but not now. But then you pull up and get killed by God. I felt that I wanted to continue living. I felt there were still things I had to do. Do you mean I had to do or Ogi had to do? Man, these visuals are crazy too. I really liked these visuals. And look at him being so like wide-minded instead of tunnel visioning on Hachikuji here, right? Kind of crazy. Humans, at least in my case, aren't such extraordinary free spirit creatures as to give up their lives based on a single feeling. Him drowning is really crazy imagery. I've become so weak that I now recall those old catchphrases with nostalgia. I'm weak as a human, so delicate and fragile that I might break apart. Isn't that what Senjuga was saying? Like, or was it no? Was that Oshino's description of Senjuga way back in Hitagi Crab? Because describing yourself as so delicate that you might break apart. I'm pretty sure that was used on Senjuga. I don't remember exact the context. I don't particularly hate how weak I've become. I mean, if you're weak, what is hating that gonna do? What are you're saying this is a problem, Araragi? Let me see. What's weakest of all? Oh, so that's even weaker. You're so weak that you can't even muster the strength to hate. Wow, that's a different level. That's something different. Because, I mean, Sodachi was staying alive through hate. That's like what kept her moving forward. Whereas with Araragi here, he doesn't even have the strength to hate. Right? I think that's an interesting kind of comparison about weakness. This I find I really like this. I hold this feeble self incredibly dear. I mean, I associate with like fragility with youth. I don't know if Araragi does, but it's interesting for him to like say all this and then meet Hachikuji again. Right? Like it literally cuts to Hachikuji. But there might be someone out there who cannot forgive me for becoming weaker. There might well be someone out there who cannot forgive me for becoming weaker. Or I guess this is like a source for him to like regain his strength is through Hachikuji. Is that kind of what you mean? After going through hell on spring break, I kept on living. Can't ignore that glare telling me I might as well die. Because, yeah, you're referring to Hachikuji here, right? Hachikuji in episode like 4 of Bake, where she's like, just go die. And that's what he can't ignore. And that's what he's like going to here. Wait. They were like, there's Araragi, which is blue, but then this yellow thing in the background, like, does that form into a person? What is this thing? That's his like shadow. You see this? Look at this thing. Araragi's like, he's like skimming towards the ground, and so his shadow is starting to appear against it. Okay, it's just I noticed that. I noticed this like shadow, this like second Araragi thing, and then it cuts to Ogi. It's like that's kind of crazy, right? That his shadow appears as he drifts towards the ground, and then it cuts to Ogi. Okay, dude. Like, you're trying to make a little comparison there? That's exactly right. He who is born a fool is never cured except through death, right? If it's something only death will cure. Foolishness may not be such a terrible affliction after all. That's crazy, saying that, like, because death can cure it, that makes it not terrible. No, that's not really how it works, dog. Hachikuji, 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 Hachikuji. I love Hachikuji, bro. Or maybe you're talking about Ogi telling you that you should go die. Either, yeah, that would also make sense. Because it does cut to Ogi there, right? Let me rewind this. Yeah, so maybe that's referring to Ogi there, which is really referring to like yourself, Loki. Man, I still can't believe, bro. Man, way back, as soon as the show first for a moment, I like started making sense and like in reference to suicide. I think that's when it clicked for me. That was the craziest, like I think change in perspective of the show. And when was that? Like Nisei probably that like really started to be like, oh shoot, maybe a little later. Whereas like, oh, like, yeah. As soon as that started like really click for Shinobu, and then I feel like you could start seeing it like everywhere a little bit. Then the show went from just being like a show to really being like something special to me, you know? Because it's a crazy impulse, right? Like you can like some people like I've heard it referred to as like the death drive or whatever. Like that's an entire thing, but like just the idea of desiring death is really crazy. Huh. I mean, this reminds me of like I don't remember who said it. I think it's some Greek dude, but like something about Heraclitus maybe the whole like human beings are born as it's kind of the idea of original sin. Honestly, just throw it at Christianity instead of like human beings are born as through sin, like born as sinners, and it is only through death that they will be atoned or whatever. And that's not really how Christianity works, right? Because you got Jesus to do that for you. Shout out Jesus Christ, right? But I've heard that before. I think it was some Heraclitus quote fragment, right? But it was like the just even pulling it away from like the idea that like somebody else died for you, but just that you are born as a sin, and it is only through death that you atone. And so like that is kind of the reason that death exists, because you weren't even supposed to be born, and so it just is correct that you will disappear. That's like something I've heard before that like really was interesting to me. I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking about like this line of, if it's something only death will cure, just the idea that death is something good that's fixing something wrong is really just hard to like wrap head around. I don't know, man. I'm definitely gonna look at the OP and ED for sure. I'm gonna do that next episode for pacing because we're already over 2 hours. Not gonna lie. And I want to look at this just a little wee bit more. Him immediately going into his big spiel about like, oh, you really think that I would just hug her like some sort of degenerate? This is an Araragi that has changed, can't you see? And then he immediately does exactly that. It's like, Araragi, stop playing with me. We all know what you're gonna do. You think you're gonna you're really just pretending. Human disqualification. It's a crazy translation of that. Have we ever seen him on his balcony before? I don't think I've ever seen him on his balcony before. Is the sun rising or setting? Virtues described by Confucius. Oh, we got Confucius's virtues here. Benevolence, rights, loyalty, filial piety, justice, knowledge, integrity, sibling piety. Oh, that's the phases of the moon thing. Look at this. The moon thing here, that's imagery we see later. It's his light in his room. That's cool. That's cool. Which is to show, I mean, like, I think this place is largely influenced by Araragi. I don't think there's some sort of objective hell, because that almost feels like a movement away from the very perspective-based subjectivity that the show explores, you know? So I think, like even Hachikuji being in hell, I think, is mostly just so that Araragi gets to be with her, because that's what Araragi, like, on some level through dying, is attempting, right? Attempting's a strong word, but... yeah. Accomplishing, maybe. Or having have happen. I don't know. But yeah, he just starts going absolutely, like, rambuckle nuts. The licking was too far, bro. The licking I couldn't do. The licking was like, can you not? Him running into the skybox is crazy, too. But no, yeah. So then he, like, laments in his own misfortune. Like, kind of a woe is me type mentality, you know? Like, I've already lived through hell. But it's like, no, you haven't, because this is hell. I feel like that's kind of what's going on. Oh my goodness, Hachikuji spit bars, bro. But no, you came to me. He realizes he's dead. We're in hell! The lowest pit of hell. Because that is how much he condemns himself, right? That is Avicii, bro. It's just insane. The way he immediately starts drowning is crazy, too. Tour of Hell. Like, he clutches at his throat. It just reminds me of his nightmare. It reminds me of his nightmare that we had in that one episode that tripped me out, you know? Was it Suki episode 1? Where he was, like, woken up by his sisters, and it was, like, the most disjointed and chaotic thing I've ever seen, and it scared the crap out of me. The big issue wasn't my own graves. Oh, yeah, it's why was she here? And even when he's been condemned to the lowest pit of hell, even when he's drowning, right? which the water, him drowning by water, I think is interesting too. Like that might have a tie into Konbaru's mom and all that nonsense. But with even with all of that going on, he's still thinking about her and still thinking about other people, which is crazy, right? I'm just visiting. I just fell straight to hell. When children die before their parents, apparently they go straight to hell no matter what. So that's kind of an insane conception of hell. Like, I guess like the only reasoning I could think of there is like, it is not correct for a child to die before their parents. That is wrong, right? And I could kind of understand that because it's like, that is such a horrible thing to have happen, to imagine like losing your child. So to imagine that as being so wrong that the child is condemned to hell, it's like, yeah, that's completely insane and like almost incomprehensible, but I think I can like construct a line of thinking that would lead you there. It's just insane, right? Or it's like that is just kind of the wrong thing to have happen. In the same way that like Araragi, like he even lamented like the whole going back into the past arc with Shinobu time, was like trying to correct this thing. So it being in need of correction, being like why she's in hell, I think could have some connection. It's that bit about piling up stones on the banks of hell. Sai no Kawara. Translator's note. Hey, appreciate you, translator. Sorry, I just had a little mental picture in my mind of Hachikuji just waddling around the shores of hell. Ooh, rock? Stack the rock. Stack the... Like, what is going on, bro? Right, and so she just gets put on the shores of hell to stack stones. And they start booty bumping for no reason. Why did that start happening? Because this is them, like, meeting up or whatever. So it's like, oh, time to booty bump. Oh, it's like they're playing a game. Yeah, they're like, click, tick, 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 tick. And then on a certain time beat, they both look at each other and start doing whatever they're doing. It's probably some game I don't know, yeah. And she beats him. Yeah, she booty bumps him out of the stratosphere. Hachikuji! Hachikuji. Yeah, and that's Tadatsuru. You are object. Oh yeah, to resurrect him. Okay. So, I think that's the dream span move. I kind of called that one. I kind of called that one at the start of this episode. As soon as like, why would Gon want Dreamspan? The first play is she wants to revive Araragi for some reason, you know. And the play there was okay, so that he is forced to realize that death is not an escape. That was the best idea we had because why would you revive Hachikuji? That was the best idea we had. So I'm just saying, this makes a lot of sense. We need to revive you by dream spanning you, then, right? Where did you get Heartspan then? I don't know where she got Heartspan. I'm lost on that piece, but otherwise we're pretty good. The math, he tries to go to math, his beloved numerics. There's a subtraction as well. So because if you okay, multiply and divide, because you're thinking like I die and get revived, what's the point, right? I'm at 10. I divide by 2, I'm at 5. I multiply by 2, I'm back at 10. That did nothing. But wait. What if you divide, this is death, you're at 5 now, and then you minus 1 because of some sort of thing that happens while you're dead, right? You get influenced in the death space. Hachikuji speaks some sense into you. Now you're at 4, then multiply that by 2, now you're at 8. Different. So even if death and reviving cancels itself out, if you do something while you're in the dead space, then it influences things. Okay, maybe that's the play there. Bro, why? This shot go crazy. Bro, she up in... Wait. Why do I kind of wish the entire show was animated like this? Wouldn't that be so cool? Look, like, seeing this animated is really cool. Are there any shows that have this style? I'm kind of obsessed with this. It's got some sort of, like gothic thing to it or something. And she got that look in her eyes. She got that like crazy look in her eyes. I love the crazy look in her eyes. Huh. Dude, I did not have Hachikuji Dante's Inferno on my freaking bingo card. Pervert, and it's talking about himself, and he's all leering and lecherous. Oh my goodness. I think my brain's tapping out. Back then, Sindrigahara had almost no body weight, so she probably wouldn't have been injured. Oh, even if he didn't catch her, right? Realizing that like catching her wasn't. Yeah. That's super true. So like, what if I didn't catch her, but he still would catch her no matter what? Yeah. In the same way he would save Shinobu no matter what. So what does the hypothetical matter if we're already like the hypothetical has two purposes, I think. It either doesn't matter, that's one purpose, that there is no purpose, or it shows another path that then gives Araragi the inspiration to make a different choice, right? Like if the hypothetical of, oh, what happens if I didn't save Shinobu actually like led somewhere and then that inspired him to make a different choice, then when he pulled up, when Shinobu appeared before him or Kisha appeared before him in right here with Hachikuji, then he would have acted differently, right? But that's not the case. So it's like, okay, then what are we doing, right? I don't know exactly where the dialogue was, but oh, is it here? I do like how Hachikuji's like, yo, it was even before Kiss Shot. It was when you met Hanakawa. I think it goes further back. I think we need to push it all the way back to math. You know what I'm saying? We ended up taking some dangerous shortcuts and making some unfathomable detours. Dangerous shortcuts is Ogi, bro. Ogi had the most dangerous. Oh yeah, look at these. Look at the stuff on the side. You can like see. It's like, I don't know what that is. That's Hanakawa on the left with her glasses. Oh, and then that's Tsubasa Tiger Hanakawa with the tiger stripes on the right. And then we have same thing. We're zooming in, and then we have Hanakawa glasses, black Hanakawa. And then we have the cat running around. That's black Hanakawa again. And then we have a black cat running around. I guess just Hanakawa again. Or like her, because she has the black hairpin, right? So yeah, it's really weird. We're like playing with this idea that like he even if things were the same, he still or even if he had another go at it, he would still do the same thing. But despite that, despite the like immutability or like unfixable nature of that, despite that, there is no acceptance because he still is wishing that he had done a better job, and that's causing him to suffer, right? So he can't forgive himself for doing the thing that he still would do anyways. He can't forgive himself for acting the way that he was going to, right? Yeah, I think the guy despises himself, right? And even like Hachikuji, like, you know, Hachikuji's like, I think you're doing fine, right? And there's people that consider him special, right? So he despises the person he is, and I think a lot of that is built off of like his broken foundations, which then made him confused on who he is and what he's doing, you know, a lot of stuff there. What a crazy episode, bro. What a freaking crazy episode. And this part about Ogi, let me just run that again, and then we're pulling the plug. But let's see what's going on. It's crazy, because this is his room, bro. This is his room. Like, the thing on the roof. And the way it's dripping. Bro, what? That's the craziest imagery. The moon, like, leaking like that, bro. They look like wounds. They look like holes. They look like cuts. Bullet holes. The moon bleeds, bro. This will probably be our last conversation after all. No shot. So he starts to talk about Ogi. Because he talked to Ogi about Hachikuji, and now he wants to talk to Hachikuji about Ogi. It's about how it's difficult to do the right thing. Most people get more enthusiastic about righting wrongs than doing the right thing, right? I think that's kind of facts. Because people are, it's like, if you're doing a really good job, nobody knows that you did a good job. Because people are only really become aware of things when they're problems, right? Like in a job sense, right? It's like, bro, like, oh, guess, like, I don't know, like in a server job or something. It's like, oh, good job. Like you got all the food out to all the customers. That's what we expect. But if I don't know, somebody crashes and a bunch of drinks go everywhere, and then you come in clutch and you clean it up really quickly, it's like, oh shoot, that could have been worse. You saved the day. Like, that's way more like boom, bang, schmack than just doing your job and not dropping it in the first place, you know? Like, fixing something, I think, does have a lot more of an emphasis than making things not break, you know? It's like preventative care versus, like, emergency treatment, you know? Like, I don't know, even, like a surgery, you know? Like, apply it to, like, the medical field if you want, where, like, how many people want to take care of themselves? And this is kind of a weird place to take it, but, like, how many people want to, like, actually take care of themselves, exercise, etc., versus the tendency to just, oh, there's a huge problem, throw a bunch of medicine at it now that it's an issue, you know? It's like, people, I think, when things become big problems, that's when they're most inclined to do it, because they kind of have to now. And that's when there's a focus on someone fixing it, as opposed to doing preventative care, right? Actually making sure that things are always good. The act of correcting a mistake makes people feel like they are doing the right thing. Yeah. Will they eventually reach a pure white righteousness? By correcting mistakes? He says no is pure black. And then it forms into a tree. All these different railroads of paths of life, all these different roads form into a tree. That's crazy imagery. It's more likely to bring about a pitch black sort of righteousness. So he doesn't want you to correct mistakes. He wants you to just have chosen the right thing in the first place. That's what I want to know. Bro, his eye is crazy there. If you do things that way, you'll never be able to obtain what you really want. I like how Hachikuji's straightforward with him. Makes everything dependent on someone else's validation. Ooh, okay. You'll only get what others give you. But for someone like you who always pursues things that are beyond your control or what you deserve. Yeah, because people aren't gonna, you're not going to be able to feel validated enough by other people. Like, you're just hoed because of the, yeah. Hesitating, stamping one's feet in frustration, repeating by trial and error, and beyond loud protests in the end. Yeah. And you were talking about Ogi. Ogi is you, bro. You were talking about yourself. You're just playing games. Stop playing with me, bro. I know it's not like you're necessarily intentionally playing all these games, but I'm, you know, it's still hard to argue, bro. Not Dante's Inferno Hachikuji, man. Good question. Good question. This was a crazy episode. This was a crazy episode. I don't know where this is going to go next. We got an OP to analyze, we got an ED to analyze, and we got to figure out, like, what's happening here. I mean, I like the idea that I posed at the beginning, before the episode, of Gon's killing him to, like, provoke a change in him, to show him that this mentality towards death isn't the escape, that he isn't going to function as an escape, right? And to give him a chance, like, one more chance to, like, connect with Hachikuji. I guess Tadatsuru might have some plays here too, because a lot of that is probably part of the plans. So whatever he says is going to be big, for sure. Like, huge highlight on whatever he says. But we'll just kind of have to see where it goes, right? We'll just kind of have to see where it goes. Crazy episode. I'm excited to read the lyrics of these two. Hachikuji, my beloved. You know, for Hachikuji, please guide me through hell if I ever go to hell. Please, Hachikuji. Literally, I will go to hell if it means I get guided around by Hachikuji. It is what it is, all right? We face eternal damnation for a little bit at a time, just chilling with Hachikuji. We gotta do what we gotta do. But yeah, honestly, that is where I'm gonna leave it for this episode. Episode 1 of Owarimonogatari Season 2. On to the next episode 2 of Owarimonogatari Season 2. Of course, if you liked the video, like the video. Subscribe if you're a new. Comment down below if you have anything to say. Hit the notification bell as well. Those would really help me out. Helps the stats keep going. Helps YouTube be like, oh shoot, this guy actually cooking with some gas. Let's keep sharing the food he's cooking. That would be nice. That would be nice. Join the Discord if you haven't already, if you want to talk to me or other Owarimonogatari Season 2 fans. But until then, until next episode 2, that's all I got for tonight. I will be seeing you then. Peace.